Hello YouTube, this is Alexis, the trans, and today I'm going to be bringing you a little bit of a discussion slash rant on why I don't really run Pot of Desires in the majority of my deck profiles. Like, I do have a few decks that do run it, like, for example, I have a number 92 turbo deck that runs it, I have a banished deck that runs it, and I have, like, chain burn that runs it, but outside of that, I don't really run it in most of my decks. And a lot of people have been getting on me for basically not even considering Pot of Desires when I do my deck building, or when I'm dueling unrated, or when I give them advice about their decks and all that. And today I'm here to talk about why I think it is, in my opinion anyway, a really bad card. Not necessarily a bad card for what it does, but rather a bad card for what it does in my particular case. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get on with my little discussion. So to start this off, there are three main components for why I don't really like Pot of Desires. First off, there is the whole banished 10 cost, which is obviously the biggest, I guess you could say, downside to Pot of Desires, is that you're going to be getting rid of 10 cards in your deck to draw 2 cards. And while you could say that this is not a big deal because you wouldn't be seeing those anyway, or that you just run free of everything and all that, in my particular case, and I just have extremely bad luck, so yeah. When I play Pot Desires, the thing that tends to happen is I'll go ahead and banish, instead of, say, just one or two of a card, I'll go ahead and banish like 2 to 3 of a card, or even multiple cards that I need for me to continue playing. So, for example, I'll go ahead and activate Pot Desires and ABC after I get my whole loop going and get a Deku Talker and an ABC Buster Dragon and maybe another monster. I don't know. Depends on what's happening. And I'll end up banishing either all the remaining ABC monsters, or I'll banish like all of one of them, and then just basically like look at my field. I have a ABC Buster Dragon that I have to do one of three things in. I have to either A, tag it out immediately in the opponent's standby phase, because if I don't, then, well, it can get kaiju'd or something like that. I have to either C, or B, I can use it to stay on the field and hope that my opponent doesn't kaiju it, because if they kaiju it, I don't have a follow-up play. Like, what am I supposed to do? I can't get back the banished face-down ones, and the only way to really get another ABC Buster Dragon out is with, what's the card called? I think it's called Union Scramble. Yeah, Union Scramble. And I'm not guaranteed to have that, so like, I don't really have a way to come back if they get rid of the monster, which just leaves me in this really weird situation where, do I keep the monster on the field, or do I get rid of it so that I don't auto-lose to my opponent having a kaiju? So yeah, it always does stuff like this. Like, I'll be playing, like, the ABC example. I'll be playing it in Cubics, and I'll banish, like, 2 of my Novas or 3 of my Novas, and I have no way to win at all at that point. I played it in Demise Gravekeepers. I banished like 3 Gravekeepers, despite the fact that I run only like 9 of them, 7 of them. I like would banish 3 Necro Valley, or I would banish like double Card of Demise, and I'll be like, okay, well, what do I do now? Like, nothing good was ever happening, so that's why I don't really like running it for that particular reason. The match just always comes out sour on my end, and it's always banishing cards that I need to continue playing. Sorry about that. So reason number 2 is that it really, really hurts my ratios. And what I mean by that is that the ratios that you have to run to make Card of Desires, Pot of Desires really work for you, is that you have to run either 3 of everything or run 3 to 2 of everything. You can't really run like these one of texts that you really want to run, or like these one of things like, for example, the Speedroid package when it was legal. You couldn't really run just the triple Terratop and the one Tomborg. You'd have to run like 2 Tomborg because you might banish the first one or something like that. Obviously, not everybody does that, but there are people who do that just so Pot of Desires won't destroy their deck. I don't know what the exact math is, but I think it's like you have like a 35% chance to not banish. I don't know. Someone did a math in the comments section on what the odds are of banishing two ofs off a Pot of Desires in a 40 card deck or a 44 card deck or 43 card deck or whatever the standard for a Pot of Desires deck is. I don't know. I only run 40 card decks for the most part. So yeah, so in addition to also forcing you to run three ofs, that means that your deck has to either be bigger to accommodate all these extra cards that you're being forced to run, which my ADHD just doesn't let me do it. I can't do 41 card decks, 42 card decks. It drives me insane. That's why I'm probably one of the few people who never played a 60 card variation, because I just simply can't do it. It's not that I can't play them, it's not that I don't know how to. I just over 40 it just drives me mentally insane. Anyway, back to what I was saying. And on top of that, that means that if I want to play a more creative build or a fun build or unique or whatever I want to do, like for example, my Care Bears from Hell or my Bicorn Mill or my Cubic Kurikari deck, I just can't do them because Pot of Desires will just automatically kill those decks if it banishes certain combo pieces at any more than one or two. And I can do it after the combos, but those decks require some pretty hefty combos to go off, and I can't reliably say that I'm going to get all those combos off and still have a Pot of Desires or draw into a Pot of Desires. So if I don't draw into it, then my deck is basically just running bad ratios just to accommodate one card. And if I do draw into it, I have to hope I can do my combos so that I don't end up banishing off the cards that I need for my deck to actually function. And I know somebody's going to say that, well, if your deck needs those combo pieces, then obviously running them at free isn't going to hurt you that bad. That's another issue. If you have to run them at free, that means you're more prone to bricking as well. Because if you brick like two of a card that you only really need to see one of, that's basically the same thing as having one less card in your hand because you can't use it for anything. I mean, you can use it for discarding, but you can't really use it for your core combo, which is just something I don't really want to deal with if I can avoid it. I mean, I say that, but then you go ahead and look at Gemini Garnet, who somehow always finds his way into my opening hand when I run him at 1. Don't know why. It just seems to be something that happens. Anyway, on to the third one. What was the third one again? Sorry about that. Oh yeah, I think I merged the third one in with the other one. Oh, I remember now. So Pot of Desires also kind of messes up the core fundamentals of deck building. I know I kind of already went on a little bit of a tantrum of that, but I'm going to go and explain in the third one anyway, just because, well, I want to expand on a little bit. So what I mean by it fundamentally messes up deck building, like, here, go ahead. I'll go ahead and quickly show a deck profile on the screen. I just got to quickly look through and find one. There. So look at this deck. If I was running Desires, this deck would just simply not be a deck I could actually play. The reason being is that the deck is very, very tight on space. And if I started running Desires, well, I'd have to bump everything up to 3, or put everything at 2 to 3, or do all the combos beforehand. But even if I do all the combos beforehand, what's my follow-up play? I just banished like at least 2 to 3 resources that I need to do my combos. And if I banish certain combo pieces, I physically can't do anything. I know someone could say that you don't run Desires in a deck like this, but my point is that's how it is for most of my decks. If I banish combo pieces, I lose. If I banish certain other things and my opponent has a kaiju, I lose. Heck, even if they don't have a kaiju, if they break my board, I lose. Like, for example, I was playing it in Blue Eyes. I ended up with a board of double Chaos Max, a number 38, and something else. But I used Pot of Desires, banished off the 2 of my Blue Eyes, and my opponent proceeded to break my board, and I ended up not having any way to do anything. So I lost more or less because I didn't have any way to stop my opponent once they broke that board, which is actually kind of impressive, actually. They were able to break double Chaos Max and number 38. I forget how they did it. Oh, yeah, I don't know. So yeah, that's kind of my little rant here. It's not a very well organized rant, but I'm not very good at making scripts. So if you have any questions or any holes you want to poke in here, let me know. This has been Alexis, the Transgender Duelist, and I am signing out.